What up, y'all? This is your boy, Mr. Downtown Ray Mello, and you're listening to the Entertainment Report on iHeartRadio, live from Dubai for Tuesday, September 1st, 2015, delivering some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello, that's RAYMELO, or on Twitter at The Enter Report. You can listen to the show anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com or go into your iHeart app, search for the Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. It has been a tumultuous year for Fashion Police, but the style-conscious E! show had a successful relaunch on Monday, according to social media users at least. New co-host Melissa Rivers joined Juliana Rancid and Brant Goretzky to critique the outrageous outfits at the MTV Video Music Awards on Sunday night. The special was the first episode since Kelly Osbourne's high-profile departure in the wake of the Zendaya scandal last February, when Rancid said, "I feel like she smells like patchouli oil and weed." A short time later, Kathy Griffin, who had been brought in to replace the late Joan Rivers, also abruptly departed the series, and E! yanked the show off the air. Guest star Margaret Cho scored top marks for viewers, some of who begged for her to become a regular on the show. Joan Rivers is beaming with pride, one Twitter user wrote. "Love her on here. She will say what everyone is too scared to say," wrote another. Cho, who appeared along with former Real Housewives of Atlanta star Nene Leakes, even got away with a cheeky joke about VMA host Miley Cyrus smelling of patchouli oil, much to Rancid's horror. Fortunately for fans, Cho tweeted that she'd love to come back to the show, saying, "It feels like family." The Parent Television Council has condemned Sunday's MTV Video Music Awards, a denunciation that, like the VMAs themselves, has become an annual event. Immediately following the awards show, PTC President Tim Winter released a statement on behalf of the organization that criticized MTV's agenda to, quote, "stir up controversy without regards to its impact on an entertainment environment that is increasingly toxic for children." In the statement, Winter criticized host Miley Cyrus's wardrobe malfunction during a glimpse backstage during which Cyrus was exposed when the curtain she was standing behind slipped revealed her nipple. He said, "Are we surprised that Miley Cyrus exposed herself to millions of viewers and to more people who will inevitably see the news in the mainstream media? About as surprised as we'll be if the sun rises in the east tomorrow morning. We hope she would have proven us wrong and demonstrated her considerable talent as a performer rather than rely on her sexuality to entertain the audience." In closing, the PTC expressed disappointment that the VMAs and its partners, including Cyrus, opted to use its platform to, quote, "expose millions of children to graphic, inappropriate, and far too frequently offensive content, as opposed to taking advantage of the opportunity to be, quote, forces for something positive." And a related story, Miley Cyrus caught everyone by surprise when she dropped a new free album right at the end of the MTV Video Music Awards broadcast. The album was something of a surprise for her label, too. Cyrus used the heavy traffic platform of Sunday's night's VMAs to announce Miley Cyrus and her dead pets. It's a homemade side project, if you will, reflected a new creative burst and created without financial support from RCA Records, though apparently the set was created with the approval of her label Home. Speaking to the New York Times a week out from Sunday's pop extravaganza, the singer said her album cost about $50,000 to make. Bangers was a million. She also confirmed RCA didn't contribute to the budget for Dead Pets, and it wouldn't count towards fulfilling her multi-album contract with the major. She admitted they never heard the record until it was done. The Times shared a statement from the label which read, "Miley Cyrus continues to be a groundbreaking artist. She has a strong point of view regarding her art and expressed her desire to share this body of work with her fans directly. RCA Records is pleased to support Miley's unique musical vision." Miley hosted this year's VMAs from LA's Microsoft Theater. The pop artist had the last performance of the night and the last word, which she used to push her new record. "It's online for free right now," she declared at the closing moments of the site, hosting the recording splashed on the screen for millions of viewers back home. In the wake with the Times, Cyrus also discussed the key roles of producer Oren Yoel and Mike Will Made It, in particular the Flaming Lips Wayne Coyne, who joined Cyrus on stage at the VMAs. Cyrus and her colorful cast performed Do It, one of 23 songs included on her new album. What Mike was to bangers, Wayne is to this project. She'll support cold water on any notion that she and Coyne had a relationship that extended beyond the musical realm. Cyrus explained, he's everything in the world that you can't even define us. I'm 100% in love with Wayne, and Wayne is in love with me. But it's not sexual in any way. That would be the grossest. Family members, friends, and sympathetic strangers all gathered to celebrate the life and mourn the death of WDBJ photographer Adam Ward on Monday. Over 1,000 people attended the memorial at the Salem High School in Virginia Beach, Virginia, to honor the 27-year-old TV cameraman who was gunned down along with reporter Allison Parker, 24, by former colleague Fester Flanagan. Ward's father, Charles Buddy Ward, exchanged warm hugs with almost all of the guests as they walked past his son's open casket, reported USA Today. The photographer graduated from the high school in 2007, was remembered by members of Salem High's football team, who wore team jerseys and were among the first to arrive. Ward had played football for the Spartans on 2 state championship teams. Also in attendance were WDBJ's employees, including General Manager and President Jeffrey Marks and News Director Kelly Zuber. Principal Scott Habib said Ward loved life and he was truly kind to people. Habib explained, this is not just the loss of a student. This is a loss of a family member because he's a Spartan. He's part of us. His father's part of us. It's heartbreaking. At the same time, we look back and we think about Adam. It was not a life wasted. It was a life well lived. Photos of the shooting victim dotted the walls while his casket was decorated with memorabilia from Virginia Tech, where he graduated in 2011 with a degree in communications. Ward's body was dressed in a Virginia Tech cap and white shirt, and a large bouquet of Hokie orange and dark red flowers was draped over the casket's lower end. Virginia Tech football players will wear stickers honoring both Ward and Parker in their season opener against Ohio State on Labor Day. The university campus in Blacksburg was the scene of another shooting tragedy in April 2007 when Shing-Hu Cho, a senior at Virginia Tech, shot and killed 32 people and wounded 17 others in 2 separate attacks. Ward's funeral is set for Tuesday, September 1st at First Baptist Church in Roanoke, Virginia. Parker's funeral is going to be private and her family are not releasing details to the public. Flanagan, the suspect in the shooting and a former colleague of the 2 journalists, died later Wednesday of a self-inflicted gunshot wound after leading police on a car chase. The former reporter had a history of anger issues and was fired from the station in February 2013 and was reportedly escorted out of the newsroom by security. The WWE has responded after a man was wounded by police while trying to gain entry to the company's performance center in Orlando, Florida on Monday. A spokesman for the company said in a statement to the Wrap, unfortunately, a deranged individual with no WWE affiliation who had a court order prohibiting him from being on WWE property was involved in an incident with an Orange County Sheriff's deputy in the parking lot of the WWE Performance Center. We defer to the Orange County Sheriff's Department for further comments and information. The man was identified as Armando Alejandro Montalvo, whose WWE took out a restraining order against earlier this month. He had a history of bizarre incidents with the WWE, all in an attempt to get hired by the company. He recently posted a video of himself mixing human waste and milk in a bucket, which he then spread on the outside walls of the Performance Center. Police were called when he arrived at the Performance Center on Monday. The confrontation turned violent, and Montalvo was wounded but not killed, according to TMZ. The Performance Center serves as the official training school for potential WWE wrestlers. The facility also serves as a training center for NXT, WWE's developmental territory. It opened in 2013. Presidential candidate Bernie Sanders and Oscar winner Lupita Nyong'o will appear on the second week of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, CBS announced on Monday. Other guests for week 2 will include House of Cards star Kevin Spacey, Everest star Jake Gyllenhaal, and Oscar nominee Naomi Watts. Colbert will also speak with UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and U.S. Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer. Republican presidential candidate Jeff Bush is due to appear on The Late Show during Colbert's first week on the air ahead of Sanders. Bush will join George Clooney and musical guest Kendrick Lamar for the premiere episode. Colbert took over the desk previously occupied by David Letterman on October 8th. Elizabeth Hasselbeck thinks hashtag Black Lives Matter is so dangerous it should be classified as a hate group. She asked a guest on Monday in response to the shooting death of a Texas deputy on Friday by an African-American suspect, why has the hashtag Black Lives Matter movement not been classified yet as a hate group? Deputy Darren Goforth was walking back to his patrol car at a gas station near Houston when Shannon J. Miles allegedly shot him in the back and unloaded his 14-clip pistol. Authorities called it an execution-style shooting and claimed Goforth was targeted because of his uniform. Hasselbeck said on Monday, I mean, how much more has to go in this direction before someone actually labels it as such? Commentator Kevin Jackson supported her assertion and suggests that leftists like George Soros are funding the hashtag Black Lives Matter group. He said, ironically, it's people who have really no concern at all about black lives, people like George Soros. Hashtag Black Lives Matter leaders have disrupted presidential campaign events and state fairs to push its agenda throughout the summer, drawing the ear of some candidates and conservative media. Fox News has covered hashtag Black Lives Matter at length, mostly negatively. Primetime anchor Bill O'Reilly argued that the movement used radical Gestapo tactics, while his colleagues have criticized its aggressive tactics rather than analyze its message. Miles, who was arrested Saturday, had a criminal record that included convictions for resisting arrest, trespassing, and disorderly conduct with a firearm. It is not clear that he had any connections to hashtag Black Lives Matter protesters. NBC's Coach Revival will not be moving forward. The network has opted to cancel the straight-to-series follow-up starring Craig T. Nelson, the Hollywood Reporter has learned. Barry Kemp, who created the original series that ran on NBC for 9 seasons, was attached to write the NBC follow-up and exec produce the Universal Television multi-camera series with Nelson. The series was poised to pick up 18 years after Coach went off the air in 1997, following a nearly 200-episode run. Nelson's belligerent football coach has now retired and is called back to become the assistant coach to his own grown son, who is the new head coach at an Ivy League school in Pennsylvania that is just starting a new team. The new series, originally ordered for a 13-episode pickup, was set to star Andrew Ridings as Hayden Fox's son. Original star Bill Fagenbake was poised to reprise his role of Michael Dauber-Dubinsky. Insider says the comedy, which had just begun production, was not going well, and multiple people inside NBC were not optimistic about it from the start. Asked by reporters at the TCA about the kind of message the series sends about the network, NBC Entertainment Chairman Bob Greenblatt said that the deal for the recent Parenthood grad came together quickly. He said, we love Craig. He has been on this network for the past 6 years in Parenthood. He is a force of nature and a real talent. And he and Barry Kemp, I think, got together and started kicking around the notion of, hey, what if we pick up this character 20 years later? What do you think? And they came to see us, and we just thought it was a great idea. One man's practical joke is another man's hit show. It's a way to do another variation of a family show with, I think, a truly talented star and a great showrunner and a pre-sold title. And if that works, then Elf, the series, is next. Coach became the latest straight-to-series order to vanish. The network previously picked up Emerald City straight-to-series, but canceled it only to revive it again with a different showrunner. Coach, which did not have a premiere date, becomes the latest 2015-2016 series to experience a problem. 4 shows have changed showrunners, 3 have tweaked their titles, many have undergone recasting as the competitive and overcrowded landscape forces networks to address changes from the get-go. Governor Chris Christie spent a fair amount of time during his Tonight Show appearance discussing one particular opponent in the presidential race. The New Jersey governor's Monday appearance on the NBC talk show marked his first late-night sit-down since announcing his current presidential campaign. And as Jimmy Fallon asked for his thoughts on Donald Trump leading the polls, Christie responded sarcastically, I completely expected that, didn't you? Everything he does is fabulous, wonderful, spectacular, amazing. It's the best. Christie then got more serious as he acknowledged that the election is still a long ways off and that, quote, there's a lot of work to do. Christie said, life is a strange, strange ride, Jimmy, and we'll just keep riding it. You just have to get used to the way that campaigns go back and forth and move around. Christie also told a story about being on a recent boat ride with fellow politicians Mitt Romney and Marco Rubio and their families. Chrissy recalled Romney was like, let's go for some ice cream. I was like, all right. Fallon then chimed in with, first of all, you weren't like, all right. You were like, yes. At that, Christie jokingly stormed off the stage. When the politician returned to his chair, he told Fallon, if I ever leave public life, you're going to have to hire 2 writers just to replace the garbage you say about me. Saturday Night Live is adding a new face to its cast. John Rudnitsky will join the venerable NBC sketch show as a featured player in its 41st season, The Hollywood Reporter has learned. Rudnitsky is a 25-year-old stand-up comic who was born in Harrington, New Jersey, and graduated from USC. He won the 2012 Laugh Factory's Laughable college comedy contest and was a participant in the 2015 New Faces of Montreal's Just for Laughs festival. SNL has been substantial cast changing in recent seasons. 3 new featured players were added over the course of last season, while a whopping 8 new faces joined the cast through the duration of season 39. Season 41 premieres October 3rd with Miley Cyrus returning as host. Amy Schumer marks her first time as host on October 10th, while Tracy Morgan returns to host for the second time on October 17th, his first hosting gig since he survived a 2014 traffic accident that claimed the life of a fellow passenger. Saturday Night Live counts Lorne Michaels as creator and executive producer. The show is produced in association with Broadway Video. CBS will not be spending another summer under the dome. The serial adaptation of Stephen King's novel of the same name has been canceled after 3 seasons. The network announced the series would conclude with its September 10th finale, promising closure to the storyline about the mysterious dome that keeps the occupants of a small Maine town separate from the rest of the world. Under the Dome premiered to lofty live and DVR ratings records in 2013. Its inaugural 3.3 rating among adults 18 to 49 and the 13.5 million viewers proved to all for the broadcast networks that summer could be a launching pad for big scripted dramas. And the financials. Under the Dome is funded largely by CBS's streaming pack with Amazon Prime, paved the way for similar rollouts. CBS summer dramas Extant and Zoo are among those have followed with respective deals at Amazon and Netflix. But the traditional measure of success has been harder on Dome. Even with the season-to-date 80% lift from DVR, it only averages a 1.8 rating among adults 18 to 49. It still ranks as broadcast's #2 scripted series of the summer behind Fox's Wayward Pines, but it's a far cry from its previous audience. NBC Entertainment Chairman Nina Tassler said 2 years ago, Under the Dome broke new ground in the summer and became an instant hit on CBS as well as with viewers around the world. Dome's storytelling and multi-platform business model paved the way for more original summer programming with the successful rollouts of Extant and Zoo. We're excited to present the final chapter in Chester Mills as the story comes to full circle, with the Dome coming down as dramatically as it went up. 1 week before it debuts a refreshed host lineup, The View will lose executive producer Bill Wolfe. Wolfe's exit comes 1 year after he was personally wooed by former ABC News president Ben Sherwood to take over the flagging daytime franchise from founding executive producer Bill Getty. ABC declines comment, but the decision is said to be Wolfe's. Wolfe will stay on through next week when the show premieres its 19th season on Tuesday, September 9th, with a new panel that includes Candace Cameron Bure, Good Morning America's Paula Ferris, and the return of Joy Behar. They will join moderator Whoopi Goldberg and new co-hosts Raven Simone and Michelle Collins. Additionally, Sherry Sheffield will rejoin the show as a contributor, along with stylist Stacey London, top chefs Penma Lashma, and GOP strategist Anna Navarro and model actress Molly Sims. Last fall, The View was put under the direction of ABC News after being launched by the network's daytime division. This season, the show will broadcast live 5 days a week, a change from previous seasons in which Friday's broadcast was taped on Thursday. Sources tell The Hollywood Reporter that Wolfe's exit is amicable, but it's no secret that the show had been in a state of turmoil since he arrived from MSNBC. A well-regarded executive at the cable news network, he was head of primetime programming and also Rachel Maddow's executive producer, steering that show to its ratings pinnacle during the run-up of the historic 2008 presidential election. The cast overhaul of The View is second in as many years as Rosa Perez and Nicole Wallace, who both joined the show last year, exiting earlier this month. Once a ratings powerhouse, The View has seen its fortunes decline as the daytime landscape has launched several imitators of the round table format, including CBS's The Talk and Fox's The Real. The View began its 18th season on a high note, pulling in close to 4 million viewers, but the show shedded about 1 million viewers over the course of the season and ending an average of 2.9 million. And Rosie O'Donnell leaving the show last February, citing personal reasons, including the breakup of her marriage, caused the decline. Another pop star is checking into the Marbella this season. Kesha is set to guest star on an upcoming episode of Jane the Virgin, the Hollywood Reporter has confirmed. The TikTok singer will play Annabelle, a rocker Natch who moves next door to Jane, played by Gina Rodriguez. She'll make her debut in episode 2. Showrunner Jenny Schneider-Erman said in a statement, "We're so thrilled Kesha will be appearing on Jane. We are all huge fans of hers, and we are all excited to welcome her to the Jane the Virgin family." Kesha joins fellow songstress Britney Spears, who plays herself in the 5th season of the season. Kesha's other TV credits include her MTV reality series Kesha My Crazy Beautiful Life and a voice appearance on Robot Chicken. The new season of Jane the Virgin premieres October 12th at 9 p.m. on the CW. Django Unchained actress Danielle Watts has been ordered to perform community service after a judge refused to buy her apologies to Los Angeles police she accused of racial profiling. Watts and her boyfriend Brian Lucas were sentenced Wednesday to 15 hours of community labor. Last September, police questioned the couple while investigating reports of people having sex in the car. Watts, who was black, and Lucas, who was white, claimed they were profiled. The couple later pleaded no contest to disturbing the peace and was told to write apology letters. Los Angeles Times says in her initial letter, Watts called a police sergeant sarcastic and dismissive. The judge said, "Try again." This week, Watts apologized for what she called lack of emotional control, but the judge called the apologies insincere. And now let's look back at what happened on this date in entertainment history. On this date in 2007, Into the Wild, a film directed and co-written by Sean Penn and based on the true story of a young adventurer who dies in Alaska, debuts at the Telluride Film Festival before opening a wide release the following month. Into the Wild was based on John Krochner's 1996 best-selling nonfiction book of the same name about Chris McCandless, who, after graduating from college in 1990, dropped out of society, gave away his money and car, and began wandering around the United States. He eventually traveled to Alaska, where he spent several months living in the wilderness, sleeping in an abandoned bus, and keeping a journal chronicling his thoughts and experiences. In August 1992, McCandless died at the age of 24, possibly of starving or from eating some toxic seeds. His body was discovered in the bus several weeks later. In the film, the actor Emile Hirsch played McCandless. He reportedly lost 40 pounds for the role. In addition to the veteran actor Hal Holbrook, who received the Best Supporting Actor Oscar nomination for his performance as an older man who meets McCandless on the way and thinks of him as a kind of a grandson. The acclaimed cast of Into the Wild included Catherine Kettner, William Hurt, Vince Vaughn, Jenna Malone, and Marcia Gray Harden. Into the Wild marked Sean Penn's 4th time in the director's chair. He made his directorial debut with 1991's The Indian Runner with Viggo Mortensen and David Morse, and follow-up with The Crossing Guard in 1995 and The Pledge in 2001, both of which starred Jack Nicholson. Born on August 17, 1960, Penn made his feature film acting debut in 1981's Taps, and at the following year gained notice as the surfer stoner Jeff Spicoli in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He went on to a lengthy list of critical acclaim performances in such movies as Bad Boys, 1983, At Close Range, 1986, Casualties of War, 1989, and Dead Man Walking, 1995, for which he received his first Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. Penn earned 2 more Oscar nods for his starring turns in Sweet and Lowdown in 1999 and I Am Sam in 2001 before taking home his first Best Actor statuette for Mystic River in 2003. And that is your entertainment report for Tuesday, September 1st, 2015. I'm your host, Mr. Downtown Ray Mello. I'll be back tomorrow to deliver some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello. That's RAYMELO, or on Twitter at The Enter Report. You can listen to this episode or any previous episodes of The Entertainment Report anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com or your iHeart app on the phone. Search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. Good night, and God bless you all.